Welcome to the Rotojoes Fantasy Football Podcast. Tonight, we have our loves, we have our hates, we have our betting locks going into a big Sunday slate in Week 3. Caden, let's talk about Texas. What's going on?
I wish I had the answers. I just really don't. Heartbreaking loss today. So here's the deal. Our defense isn't very good. We knew this, right? We all knew this. Everybody with two well-functioning eyes knew this. They kicked the field goal to go up 38-35. I stopped paying fucking attention because there was like 20 goddamn seconds left. I still don't even know what happened, how we were able to send it to overtime, but we did. Great. Now I'm interested again, right? And all of a sudden, we go in first play, Bijan Robinson fumbles, loses it, game's over, essentially. Here's the deal. The Robinson slander will not be tolerated. It won't. That is the best running back in the country, and it's not even close.
Well, Kansas is going to beat you guys.
No, they're not.
Kansas is going to be ranked above Texas.
Sure, but
we have a better offense.
Until Ewers gets back. Our backup quarterback's playing. It's a different game. Daddy Ewers will be back next week.
That doesn't matter.
Oh, Ewers is way better than Jalen Daniels.
No.
Even with a fucked up foot.
No. So.
Oh, shit.
Let's move into our locks. Caden, your first lock of the week. Vegas -2.5 going into Tennessee.
So here's the deal. Tennessee is an absolute shambles. Ryan Tannehill, I can't believe he's done it, but he looks worse than he did last year. Offensive line's banged up. Derrick Henry isn't what he was. I think a lot of things play a factor into that. I think if we don't see Malik Willis this week, I'd be surprised. That is how bad that offense is right now. And I think the Raiders are a little butthurt over their loss to Arizona. I would be. I think they come out slinging. I think it's going to be a big offensive game for not Oakland, Las Vegas. That's still a hard one for me. And I like the spread on that. I like them at least by 3. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. I think Tennessee, they're flirting with, a top 10 pick in the draft at this point, the way that roster looks.
Speaking of Vegas, Caden, over under, how many times do you think you're going to throw up when we go?
Oh, over under? I'd take at least a half. Maybe 1.5.
4.5, solid over. Yeah, I like Vegas over. I like Vegas -2 going into Tennessee. I do think Vegas is going to come out and try to make a statement. Tennessee is not playing well right now. If Derrick Henry can get off to a really good start and play like vintage Derrick Henry, might be talking about a different story. But I think Vegas is going to come out and win this game. My first lock of Week 3 is going to be Darren Waller anytime touchdown, +160. He's seen 3 red zone targets over the last 2 weeks. Renfro's out this game. The Titans are 26th in pass DVOA, so they are not playing well against quarterbacks right now, just in the pass game in general. It feels like a get-right game for the Raiders. I think Waller's going to get involved in the red zone. That's where he's best. I like plus odd anytime touchdown bets that seem really likely, and this one screams likely to me.
Yeah, I think Waller's lack of involvement through 2 games is probably why they suck so bad. I mean, he is a elite option at tight end that they're just not really utilizing. So I mean, you could walk out on that field on a defensive side and say, hey, man, we should probably guard Devontae Adams, right? Anybody with fucking eyes could see that. And Darren Waller, he's the same thing at the tight end position. I mean, he is an ex receiver that is a tight end. So I think he's got a lot of upside, and hopefully sooner or later they start including him in the game plan. But I like an anytime touchdown this week. Tennessee's weak. Makes me happy to say that, but yeah, they fucking suck. That whole division sucks. The bad part is someone's got to win that division, right?
Yeah.
And any of those four teams, my team included, go into the playoffs, they're getting fucking steamrolled by somebody, and it ain't gonna be pretty.
I like the Colts or the Jaguars, but whoever makes it out is gonna get killed in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Your second lock, you have Philly -6.5 going into Washington.
So here's my thing. This week, I can't quote any of them off the top of my head, but the over-unders on the week, I just didn't like them. There's nothing, I scrolled through them all. There was nothing that spoke to me as being, overly positive, anything that I really wanted to talk about. So I went ahead and went with the Philly spread. Philly's going to beat the dog shit out of the Commanders. They needed a last-second thing to beat, what was it, Jacksonville. They lost to Detroit. But, hey, I wouldn't take that too much to heart because I think Detroit's got that dog in them. Carson Wentz is playing better than I would have expected. To truth be told, he's playing better than I anticipated, but I think Philly's the real deal in that division. They are a very dynamic offense, and the defense ain't half bad either. I mean, they made Justin Jefferson look, like someone who didn't play real football.
Yeah, I think Washington's gonna Philly's gonna give Wentz the Kirk Cousins treatment, and we know that Wentz does not like that. He doesn't like to be pressured. So yeah, I foresee a very, very big Philly victory. Once Philly's up, they don't give up the lead. So they'll just run that clock out. Really like that one. My last lock is going to be Michael Pittman over 67.5 receiving yards. The odds there are -115. Pittman is the only difference maker in this whole passing game, and he is Matt Ryan's number one. I went back and looked. Matt Ryan's number one averaged like 140, 150 targets every season from 2020 to like 2012. It was ridiculous. And Pittman's going to be that guy this year. Against the Chiefs, who are going to get up early, going to score really quickly, I think Pittman's going to have to be peppered with targets just for the Colts to even have any chance of keeping up.
Yeah, man, Michael Pittman, I mean, his presence not being there last week really showed. They couldn't do a single fucking thing on offense. I mean, the Colts without Michael Pittman, you just stack the fucking box because what are they going to do? They going to run? No shit. They're going to take Jonathan Taylor and they're going to fucking run, right? And that's exactly what I saw in every highlight that I saw is they just crammed in there, stopped Jonathan Taylor from running. They really had no one else to throw the ball to. And, you go back a week, they were slinging it to Pittman left and right. So that's an easy one for me. I love Pittman right now. He's got standalone value on a shitty team. 69 or whatever you just said is easy, I think.
Yeah, 67.5. It's that feels like a free square to me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Caden, talk about your parlay for the week. Sticking with the Eagles-Washington game. You have Eagles money line. Wentz over 199.5 passing yards. Samuel anytime touchdown. Odds for that are +800.
So
and Hurts anytime touchdown. I'll just make sure I got all four.
Right. Here's the thing I like about a Hurts anytime touchdown is it's Miles Sanders isn't good. Jalen Hurts is the first option in that run game. It's not even particularly close. I'm sure Miles Sanders truthers are beating themselves senseless for taking Miles Sanders in this last draft because the only chance he has of getting in the end zone is if Jalen Hurts gets hurts. I mean, that's really all it is. Eagles money line, that's a cake one for me. I mean, I think the odds on that were real low. So here's where I like it is Wentz over 199 and Samuel anytime touchdown. Curtis Samuel's turning out to be something we weren't ready for. Right? He has not been really a whole lot in his whole NFL career. I mean, he flashed potential in Carolina. He had a couple moments last year, but this year he's locked in. He's getting 15 to 20 points a game. I think that connection with them is good. Good enough to at least score once. That's kind of what I feel about it. I mean, they have other options. They actually have a really good receiving core in Washington. Terry McLaurin, for some odd reason, is the odd man out. I don't really understand that. But, yeah, so Samuel, in my mind, is kind of the preferred target. Wentz has proven that he could go over 199.5, so you're basically saying Wentz gets 200 passing yards. He can do that. He's not the greatest quarterback in the league, but I see that as just within the realm of possibilities. And I love the odds on that one. That's a good moneymaker because we all know Philly's going to beat the shit out of him, but I think it's going to be a competitive game.
Yeah, I like that. I think that the Curtis Samuel anytime touchdown is a good little call just because he has a really low ADOT. So the pressure that Philly's going to bring won't really affect him because they're getting him the ball quick. Short passes, letting him create after the catch. I like that one a lot. With those odds, that's a really worthwhile deal. My parlay, I have a Dameon Pierce anytime touchdown, over 52.5 points in the Detroit versus Minnesota game, a Dalvin Cook anytime touchdown, Packers over 13.5 points, and Tampa Bay over 13.5 points. So, Dameon Pierce, Chicago just got tore up by Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Pierce saw 63% of the snaps last week. He looks like he is going to start to work into that alpha role. 3 red zone touches last week versus the kind of maybe sort of good Denver team. I have Houston winning this game rather handedly. So I think Dameon Pierce is going to get involved. I think we're going to see him in the red zone. I think there's a good chance for him to score. I have a unit on that by itself, not just in this parlay, but Dameon Pierce anytime touchdown. I want to say it's like plus 150, 160. Good odds. A good little bet. Like that one a lot. Over 52.5 points in the Detroit versus Minnesota game. Detroit has been getting into shootouts with all of their opponents. No one's going to be able to stop Justin Jefferson on the other side. No one's going to be able to stop Dalvin Cook on the other side. They've given up 180 or more rushing yards in the last 2 games. Minnesota's also bad on defense, so I think we're going to see a shootout in this AFC North game. It's in a dome. Really excited for that one. Dalvin Cook anytime touchdown. He has 1 red zone touch. There's bound to be some positive regression there. I think that against a weak Detroit run defense, we're going to see Dalvin feast. Packers and Tampa Bay both over 13.5 points. This is likely the last time we see Brady versus Rodgers. I think that while both teams are limited offensively, we'll see at least 14 out of both. And that guy will net you plus 855.
Yeah, that's a real good one. I mean, Pierce and Dalvin touchdowns. Here's the deal. These guys haven't really gotten the opportunity to really pound it in. I mean, Pierce, they've been playing from behind a whole lot. I think that changed this week. And then Dalvin's kind of just not really been in the game plan. And that really surprises me to an extent that I was really big on Dalvin going into this year. I thought the pass game work was coming for him, something he really hadn't seen in his career. And they kind of just went a whole different way with it. But I agree with you. I think this is going to be a shootout. There's more of a chance than not that he falls in the end zone at least once. I mean, I think this is a get-right week for Dalvin Cook. That game in itself going over 52, I could see it. Just because, something people aren't talking about is Detroit is a very decent offense right now. I don't think people want to accept it, but they are. I mean, I think I saw something that said they were the second highest scoring offense in the league. The Detroit Lions. I mean, they've got something cooking. They might not have the best pieces, but they're doing it. So Green Bay and Tampa Bay over 13.5. I feel like that's a given. I know they are both very heavily struggling at running or at wide receiver this week. I think I posted something earlier about Cole Beasley. He might be the wide receiver one on that team this week. That is a great go get. Like, if you are in a bad place, you got some injuries, you got some shit going on, go get Cole Beasley because he is exactly what Tom Brady loves.
Yeah.
A slow white guy that can run in the slot. Tell me I'm wrong, but he has loved those fucking guys over the years. The Wes Welkers, the Danny Amendolas, these fucking slow white guys, he loves them. That's a great go get, but I see this as a good game for the running backs. I think Aaron Jones is going to light him up. I think AJ Dillon's going to have a good week. I think Leonard Fournette's going to come out slinging. This is definitely a week I'd go over probably on all those guys. So 13.5 points, no problem. I expect a run heavy game.
All right, Caden, we're going to debut a new segment. It's going to be a lightning betting round. I'm going to give you a line. Just real quick. Yes, no, like if you would bet it or not. I'm going to go through and record these. We'll talk about what we got right and wrong next week. First off, I have Minnesota Vikings -6 at home versus Detroit.
No.
You're not taking it? I'd take that. I think Minnesota wins by a touchdown. New Orleans Saints at Carolina over 41.5 points.
Yes.
I think it's close. I have around 40. I probably am not betting that. Baltimore Ravens -2.5 going into New England.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. Same game. Over under 44.5.
44.5. Yeah, I'd take that. Over or under? Sorry, wait.
Which one? I asked you which one.
Oh, I'd go over.
Yeah, I have the under. Our offense is fucking god awful. It's ridiculous. I hate it. Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins over under 52.5 in Miami.
Under.
Interesting. I have over. I think that Tua is gonna. Mike McDaniel's a good play caller. I think he'll be able to do a little bit more against that Buffalo defense than we're used to seeing.
I just think that defense is too good. That's my thing.
They are. They are really good. Kansas City -5.5 in Indianapolis.
I'd take that.
Yeah, I think that might be a 2-3 touchdown game. That might get nasty.
That's going to be ugly.
Houston at Chicago over under 39.5 points.
I'm going to go over, but I'm probably wrong.
Yeah, I like the over. You know what I really like is the +128 Houston Texans money line. I like that a lot.
We're not taking a beating. I mean, the Denver game was disappointing. We should have won the Colts game. Denver was trying to give us the game, but we didn't want to take it. I hope we bounce back because Chicago, right?
Yeah, I think Houston's better than what we've seen. They've had some tough opponents. Green Bay +1 in Tampa Bay.
I don't think I'd take that.
Yeah, I don't either. I think there's a lot of variance there. San Francisco, Denver over 43.5 points with Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback.
Yeah, I'd take over.
I agree. Does Trey Lance ever start for the 49ers?
Yes, absolutely. I think they've got too much invested in him to not. But I also think Jimmy G is going to go out and play his way into a Trubisky type bridge quarterback contract because Jimmy Garoppolo is a fucking winner. I mean, we've dug into the numbers. We know Jimmy Garoppolo wins games. He doesn't do it in blazing fashion, but next year, say Tampa Bay. That's kind of what I think. I think next year, say Tampa Bay, they want the next closest thing to Tom Brady. Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah.
Just a thought. But yeah, I think Trey Lance does play for them again. I think he's on a short leash. I think if he goes out next year and sucks, the following year they'll be looking for a quarterback. I think that's how short of a leash the Shanahan regime gives you. I mean, fuck, Trey Sermon didn't really even do anything. And he's not on the roster anymore. Like, he went out and played one game. It wasn't amazing. He started and played one game. Wasn't amazing. And then we fucking never saw him again. And now he's on, I don't know if he's on the practice squad or if he's just out every week. I don't really know, but that's how you roll playing with Shanahan, man.
Yeah. Cowboys Giants under 39.5.
No, it's gonna be over.
Over? Oh, I think that's an under. All right. Move on to our loves and our hates. Caden, your first love, Jared Goff versus Minnesota. Why do you love that?
So, like I was saying, man, Jared Goff. I don't necessarily love Jared Goff. I love the situation he's in. He's in an offense that's doing some things right. Amon-Ra St. Brown. I've never, I don't know what you want to call it, course corrected more than St. Brown. I didn't hate him, but I didn't love him. But clearly, we've all underrated him this year.
Yep. Yep.
That's one. I don't think. I mean, I might have to watch back through the pods and see if I ever said anything wrong about him, but I don't think I did. They've got some real things working for them offensively in Detroit. Minnesota is bottom 3, I think, in passing defense, so that's just even better. Like I said, I expect it to be a shootout. I like what Jared Goff's doing. If you have to stream a guy this week, this is kind of the way I go. If you're on the Justin Herbert train, I would way rather go pick up Jared Goff off the waiver wire than to play Chase Daniel. Just gonna throw that out there.
Do you think Justin Herbert's going to play?
No, I do not. He shouldn't. I mean, you got to think about it. That guy is a top 3 quarterback in the league, and they're playing the fucking Jaguars. He can sit this.
Yeah, I agree. I think they can win without him against a bad Jacksonville team. Well, not bad, but just a young Jacksonville team. I like Goff a lot this week, too. Their offensive coordinator has done a good job of calling complementary plays to what Goff is good at. The run game is good. Jamal Williams has, I think, plus 175 odds for an anytime touchdown. I love that this week. I think they're going to move the ball well. Goff could easily throw for 2 or 3 touchdowns, 250 yards. That would be a good streaming option game.
Here's the thing about Goff. Goff isn't a bad quarterback. He just isn't a great quarterback.
Does that make value, Jimmy Garoppolo?
Right. He's not. He was never bad in Los Angeles. He just wasn't great. He's not bad in Detroit. He's just not great. Should he have been the first pick in the draft? Absolutely fucking not. But he's not a bad quarter. Like, he's going to be one of those guys, I feel like, that lingers around the league for way too goddamn long. Like Josh McCown. How goddamn long was that guy in the league?
Yep.
And he wasn't good, but he wasn't bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's kind of where that's my comparison for Jared Goff.
Yeah, that's a good one. I agree. Jared Goff is just, he's going to be around for like next 15 years. Start some games, just start some places, sit some places. It'll be interesting. My first love is Dameon Pierce going up against Chicago. We talked about him earlier. 63% snap share last week, 3 red zone touches. Going up against a bad Bears defense that is just not going to be able to stop a Texans run game that is potentially really physical and really well planned out. Uh, Indiana and Denver are definitely better than Chicago, and you could tell that he belonged on the field versus both of those two teams. So I'm a fan of Dameon Pierce. He's a smart runner. He's a hard runner. I think he finds the end zone this week, and he's a good play overall.
Oh yeah, dude. So I actually watch the Houston games, right? Like more so than the highlights. When I can, I'm one of those guys that I'm not fucking paying for cable, and shit's been a little rough this year. So, but luckily I've been able to catch at least a little of both of these games. He runs a lot like Marshawn. That's what I see. He loves to just run into a pile and see what fucking happens, and a lot of times it goes well. It's just a matter of time before he breaks out. I mean, honestly, we're bad at a lot of things, but we actually do have a decent offensive line now for the first time in probably 10 years. It's really showing that kid can run. He runs hard. He doesn't back down really from anything. I love Dameon Pierce. I think, yeah, he's kind of like Javonte Williams in a sense that it's just a matter of time. And I think the Bears game would be a good coming out party for him because they're bad.
They're god awful.
So ultimate coming out party for him. Yeah, I'm in on that one.
Your next love, CD going up against the Giants.
So here's the deal. CD's been underwhelming this year, right? I don't think CD is a true alpha receiver. I don't. I thought the potential was there going into the year. At this very point, I do not. Maybe when he gets hooked back up with Dak later in the season, my mind can be changed. Here's what I like going into this year. The Giants defense still isn't good. I know they're 2-0, but they're 2-0, right? I think they are.
Mm-hmm.
They're the worst 2-0 team in the league. Just really got on the lucky side of a couple things. Here's the deal: is Michael Gallup's coming back. Any kind of situation where it could take some pressure off of CD, he performs better. Just who he is. Like I said, I don't think he's reached that alpha status yet. And that to me is enough to want to fire. I mean, here's the deal. If you have CeeDee Lamb on your roster, you probably don't have a real hell of a lot of a choice. And unfortunately, you've got those players. You've got those guys that if you have them on your roster, like no matter how bad the matchup is or no matter how bad they're doing, you really kind of stuck with them, right? CeeDee Lamb's one of those guys, but I think this week is a little bit more of a reason to have some confidence over prior weeks, just because I think you insert Gallup back into the fold, it opens up a different level, different realm of outcomes, different possibilities. So I like CeeDee Lamb going into this week probably more than I did last week for sure. Just kind of my outlook on it.
Yeah, so I would push back on one thing, and it is that I think CD Lamb is an alpha, but they didn't give a fuck about it. Like, they didn't give a fuck about anyone else. So you saw doubles, triples, heavy shades over the CD side. Michael Gallup coming back is going to alleviate some of that. They can't just double CD and just double and then shade over to CD side. I think it opens this game up. Cooper Rush targeted him 11 times last week. I like that. I'm probably going to start him every week until proven otherwise. I think the game's going to start opening up for him. Really excited for his outlook. The targets are there. The opportunity is there. That's the first step. He just needs to convert on it now. I have as my last love of the week, Michael Pittman going up against Kansas City. So, like we talked about earlier, he is Matt Ryan's guy. Point blank period, the guy for Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan gave Julio Jones 200 plus targets one year, 170 another year, 163 another year. He peppers the shit out of his alpha. Kansas City has a bad pass defense. We just saw their corners get lit up by Mike Williams. I'd argue that Michael Pittman is a better version of that same archetypical X receiver. I think Pittman's going to torch Kansas City. I don't think the game's going to be close, but you want that. That gives you that positive game script. I'm looking for over 10 targets, over 85 yards, and a touchdown out of Pittman this week.
Oh, easy. And you know they're going to be playing from behind probably within the first 3 or 4 minutes. You want that, though. Honestly, you almost want a receiver with a shitty defense. I think I've said that before. Like, those are things that kind of go hand in hand. You want a receiver with a shitty defense. You want a running back with a good defense.
Mm-hmm.
Those are just these little niches that you got to kind of fall into sometimes, and Pittman really falls into that. Yeah, they're going to get absolutely flamed, I think, at the end of the day, but they're still going to, I mean, it's going to be throwing your way out of it. I think it's going to be a somewhat down week for Jonathan Taylor unless he could get cooking real early. That's kind of the way I see it. I got a shitload of Jonathan Taylor across all my leagues, so my expectations on that are tempered at least a little bit. I mean, I hope he gets a couple goal line touchdowns to salvage the day, but ultimately, yeah, Chiefs probably by 3 scores, and I think Pittman's going to be the receiver of a lot of that heartache for Indianapolis.
Yeah, I think Pittman's in for a big day. Your first hate on week 3, you have Tua going up against Buffalo. What's going on there?
So Tua against Buffalo, he had a hell of a week last week. You go back to the week before, he had an okay week. Everybody's ready to crown him the MVP. I like Tua. I like the system he's in, but I just think that Buffalo defense is just a little too much. I think he's going to get somewhat exposed in that game. I'm not saying he's not going to have a great year. I honestly think he's going to have a great year, and he's going to get mega fucking paid at the end of the year. But this is not the game for him. That Buffalo defense is fucking nasty. I mean, it is. They cause you to make quick decisions. I'm not sure if he can do that. They play a lot tighter coverage than a lot of those teams. I mean, you saw Buffalo fucking eat up the other 2 teams they played like they were fucking middle school varsity teams, or high school varsity teams. So they're a different level, and I think that's my thing going into this game is Tua's good. Tua's playing great, but it ain't his game.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to trust Tua this week. I just wouldn't want to be in that position. Buffalo's really good at getting pressure on that front 4. Tua, we're not sure how he's going to handle that. He's a short quarterback, so if he's in the pocket and it's collapsing, it's going to be hard to get that ball over the defensive line. So
I'm in a bad spot. I mean, I got a league where I got Justin Herbert, and Tua's my backup. So I'm probably going to have to play Tua. And I don't like it. No, I'm good.
You realize he plays the Seahawks in Seattle.
I'm aware.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm out on Tua this week as well. My first hate, I have both Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady going up against each other. Sammy Watkins is on the IR now. Evans is suspended this game. Julio's a game-time decision. Tampa Bay is looking at Cole Beasley as being their potential number 1 this week. Tampa Bay number 1 in pass defense DVOA. Green Bay is 10th in pass DVOA. Both teams are going to play a slow run the football play style Right now, both of these quarterbacks are reminiscent of ye old game managers of the past. Think Big Ben on the Steelers, Peyton on the Broncos, Breeze the last few years with the Saints. Neither quarterback scored better than quarterback 15 in fantasy points in a week. Bad news until Weapons shows up. I wonder if Will Fuller ends up with Green Bay, but I'm avoiding both of these quarterbacks this week.
Yeah, they're not two that I mean, they're definitely not two that I'd like to fire up at a QB1 spot. I mean, you're talking you if you're Green Bay, you hope Alan Lazard has a game of his life, which is very possible, but I mean, you flip over to Tampa Bay, and Russell Gage is also like a questionable game time decision type of thing. They are really beat to shit. I mean, you're talking about like if Russell Gage and Julio Jones don't play, which I really don't expect Julio Jones to play. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with that guy. Like he has had horrible injuries over the last 2-3 years. You're looking at Tom Brady going out there wholeheartedly with Scotty Miller, Rashard Perriman, and Cole Beasley. That's the only people that could really catch the football. I mean, at that point, you might as well take Rashad White, line him up as a fucking receiver because that's really where you're at this point in time. I mean, I guess they got tight ends like Brady and Rudolph, but they've proven over their career to be mildly inconsistent.
Let's talk about how I picked up Rashard White in our keeper league.
That's not a bad play right now. Like I said, he might be a decent receiver for him. This week especially. I mean, like I said, I think it's going to be Brady and Rodgers. I'd bet the fucking under. Yeah. If I had if I'm going on sleeper squads and I'm taking Aaron Jones, I'd go the over on receiving. Just because I think that's the kind of game they're going to have. I'd take the over on Leonard Fournette receiving probably. Just because it's such a weird last matchup for these guys because it's not going to be what everybody expects it to be. Yeah. I think it's going to be ugly. I don't think they're really going to be super fucking involved. It's not going to be the shootout everybody wants to see.
No, I agree. All right. Your last love or your last hate of week 3, James Robinson going up against the Chargers.
So here's the deal. Cameron Bray not Cameron Bray. Chase Daniel or not, I think the Jaguars are going to lose. I don't think it's going to – I mean, the defense in Los Angeles is too fucking good. I mean, that is a good defense. Yeah. That's the kind of shit you write home about, right? Mm-hmm. I don't think the game's even particularly close just because I don't think the offense is going to be able to get off to much of a start. I think they're going to play from behind. I really feel this week is ETN season. Just because I think they're going to be playing from behind. And I think that's where you're going to see the difference in the Jacksonville running backs. I think you're going to see the games where they stand a chance, it's going to be a James Robinson week. I think the games where they don't stand a fucking chance, it's going to be the ETN weeks. And I just really feel like that's one of it for me. James Robinson's had a really good first couple games. He's been heavily involved in the game script. They've been in good situations to where he's had that ability, but I think this is the week he takes a step back, and I think it's going to be a lot of ETN in the passing game.
Yeah, I think ETN is going to have a big week this week against a really, really, really good Chargers defense. They don't let a lot of deep stuff happen. Like, I don't like starting Christian Kirk this week, probably avoiding it if I can. James Robinson, it's not going to develop for him. I'm still not sure that he's not going to get hurt. I'd probably be looking to trade him if I had him. After 2 big weeks, I'd want him gone.
Mm-hmm.
He's a liability. I don't want that. Those Achilles are undefeated. I'd rather be on the wrong side of that.
You got to sell high. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of players out there right now. I think you gotta take it for what it is and sell high. I mean, and he's one of those. You could really trick a lot of people into thinking he's the workhorse running back in that offense, but I still don't believe he is. And I'd be trying to get out if it was me.
Yeah, I agree. All right, my last hate. I have Mike Williams. That's if Chase Daniels plays. So it's not that I don't like Chase Daniels, or I mean, I don't like him. He's not very good, but it's not like I have any issue with him or anything. I just don't think that he's going to be looking to the guy. I don't think he's going to be looking to the guy who's going to be trying to win contested catch situations. I think we're going to see a big game out of Keenan Allen if Chase Daniels plays. Not that Mike Williams wouldn't be able to have a good game with Herbert, but Daniels is going to go to a safety blanket, Eckler, Allen over a guy who's trying to win 50-50 balls. Daniels is going to play not to lose. Herbert plays to win, and that would be the difference.
Yes. So it's Chase Daniel, not Daniels. I know you forgot because he's he's so irrelevant.
Yeah.
But yeah, for a long time now, I would like some numbers on Chase Daniel. I would like to know how much money he's made being a career backup. Because I've always heard him regarded as like one of the quote unquote best backup quarterbacks in the league. I know he played a couple of years in Kansas City.
36 million.
He's made $36 million.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking impressive, given that he has really only taken a handful of meaningful snaps in
He's thrown
the NFL.
9 touchdown passes.
Right. That's a lot of money. I mean, that's a lot of money for realistically hardly ever having to play. So good on him, man. I mean, he's made a lot of money. He's 35, 36 years old, I think. Yeah, this isn't the week for Mike Williams, I don't think. I think you're right. I think it's going to be a heavy and we really don't know because at this point, Justin Herbert's still questionable. Now, at the point that this podcast comes out, it may be revealed that he's out. I hope he's out, just to be real honest. Like, they shouldn't sacrifice Justin Herbert to beat the Jaguars. Now, if it was facing Kansas City again, a division opponent, maybe you can understand it a little bit better, but right now it doesn't make any sense. Honestly, I think it's bad on the Chargers that they put him back out there after that. That was the problem for a lot of people, myself included, is he went out there and you saw him throw a pass like into the ground and you could tell he was fucking miserable. And then he goes out and throws a fucking dime right after that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, kid's tough as nails, but man, you shouldn't do that with the franchise quarterback. Your entire future is this fucking kid, right? So yeah, that's kind of my problem with that. Like I said, big Everett week, big Eckler week, big Keenan Allen week if he's back. He ain't gonna throw it up, I don't think.
Yeah, I did not like that decision either. However, it gave me a backdoor cover and I won some money, so that was cool, but not really for like how I want to manage a young quarterback. Anything else we want to talk about, Caden?
No, man. I mean, big wins today. Good. One thing, we talk a lot about betting. And here's something I got for everybody. Pay attention to these betting apps. I mean, it's good to dabble in a few of them. But something I learned today is you got to pay attention to these little promos that come out. Like, an odds boost, or here's a free $5 bet, but you got to use it today type of thing. Like, just keep those notifications on because For instance, like today, it was a Clemson bet, and it was just me fucking around. I picked a 4-leg parlay, and it was plus like 3 something or 3 or 4 something, and then you add in the boost, and it jumped it up to $7.95. And it was just a small bet, but $7.95 I hit. I took home the money, and I wouldn't have taken home half that if I wouldn't have played the boost. So just pay attention to those things, man. Sometimes they could turn out to be real good. Especially if it's just a small bet that you're placing just to do something. Yeah, keep those notifications on, something you can make some money off of. So
Yeah, something I have on the betting front is I have started to stay away from parlays. I'll do 1 or 2 for fun, but there's just not a high success rate. Anytime touchdown scores, easy. Some of these prop receiving yards, interceptions, easy. Over-unders can be easy. Like, I like to pick out a few things that I think are really likely, then make a couple parlays, but mostly single units. That's what does it.
I think parlays are almost designed to fail to
Yep.
some extent. Like I think there's just like, especially once you start getting deeper and deeper into like the 6, 7, 8-leg parlays, something's gonna fuck you sooner or later. Even no matter how like concrete you think it is. I never put huge money on parlays anymore. I've learned my lesson in that, and I think you're exactly right. Like, you go into a week and you put in 5 or 6 like decent wagers on onesie twosies, and it can even be a two bet thing, like you were saying with Tampa Bay and Green Bay. Just a couple things. I mean, there were so many, like, especially when it first came out, where I was like in a 9-leg parlay. I swear to God, I remember a 9-leg parlay where I was going to bet $50 and turn around and take home $900, and one thing fucked me. And I hit the other 8, but one thing fucked me. And I swear to God, it's just been like that over and over with parlays. So that's my recommendation. Is just, it's strategic betting. It's like a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of this. And that adds up more so than hitting a big parlay every now.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Anything else?
No, good luck, everybody. My fantasy teams need some love this week, so sorry, Cooper, but you're gonna have to take this L.
My teams don't need help.
Okay.
We'll see you guys Wednesday. Have a good night.